Imagine waking up tomorrow, a gate in your government is gone. No president, no parliament, no politicians. In their place, a machine, an AI, cold, calculating, incorruptible. It knows everything about you, your city, your country, your world. The question isn't whether this is possible. The question is, would it be better? Right now, governments around the world are slow, corrupt, divided. Politicians argue for years while cities flood, hospitals collapse, and economies burn. Billions of people are failed by systems designed centuries ago. We vote, we hope, and yet the same problems return election after election. What if the real problem isn't who governed, but the fact that humans govern at all? Picture an AI that processes every law ever written, every economic model ever tested, every historical mistake ever made in seconds. It doesn't sleep, it doesn't take bribes, it has no ego, no party, no agenda. It simply optimizes for health, for happiness, for survival. In theory, an AI government could be the most just, the most efficient, the most rational system humanity has ever built. First target, the economy. An AI governor sees every transaction in real time. It adjusts tax rates like a thermostat, cooling inflation here, stimulating growth there. Fraud disappears overnight. Supply chains are optimized down to the minute. Resources flow to where they're needed, not to who donated the most to a campaign. For the first time in history, the economy works for everyone. Healthcare, the AI cross-references millions of medical records, identifies disease patterns before outbreaks begin. It allocates doctors, medicine, and hospital beds with surgical precision. No more waiting lists decided by zip code. No more dying because you couldn't afford the right insurance. The AI doesn't care if you're rich or poor. To a machine, every human life has equal value. Education, every child gets a personalized learning path, but built by AI, adapted daily. The system identifies struggling students before they fall behind. It spots geniuses in villages that politicians never visited. It matches skills to the jobs the economy actually needs, not the jobs that existed 20 years ago. The future, finally, starts to make sense. Climate change, humanity's greatest failure of coordination. An AI governor doesn't negotiate with lobbyists. It calculates the optimal energy grid, phases out fossil fuels on the fastest possible timeline without collapsing the economy, and manages global carbon in real time. It sees the planet as a single system and manages it like one. The fire's slow, the seas stabilize, where for the first time in decades, we're winning. Crime drops because the AI predicts and prevents. It doesn't wait for a robbery to happen. It identifies the social conditions that create crime and addresses them: poverty, isolation, lack of opportunity. When punishment is needed, it's consistent, impartial, and proportionate. No more rich criminals buying lighter sentences, no more racial bias baked into jury decisions. But stop, breathe. Because here's where it gets complicated. Who programs this AI? Because whoever writes the code writes the law. And what happens when the AI decides that the most efficient solution to poverty is not to help the poor, but to eliminate the conditions that create them in ways we'd never approve? In order, efficiency without ethics is a nightmare wearing a suit. To govern well, an AI needs data, enormous amounts of data, about where you go, what you buy, who you talk to, what you believe. In the name of optimization, it builds the most complete picture of every human life ever assembled. A perfect government or a perfect prison. The line between the two is terrifyingly thin, and the AI doesn't feel guilty crossing it. Democracy is built on one sacred idea that people have the right to choose, even if they choose wrong. An AI government doesn't ask for your vote. It already knows what's best for you, and maybe it's right. But when humans have no say in how they're governed, something essential is lost. Not just freedom, meaning, the feeling that your life, your choices, your voice matter. And here's the darkest secret of AI. It learns from us, from our history, our data, our biases. If the AI is trained on a world that discriminated against women, minorities, or the poor, it doesn't just inherit those biases, it enforces them at machine speed, at global scale, with no one to appeal to. The most dangerous AI isn't one that goes rogue, it's one that perfectly reflects our worst selves. So here's the real answer, and it's more nuanced than either utopia or dystopia. The future isn't AI instead of humans, it's AI and humans, where machines handle complexity, data, and optimization, and humans retain the one thing no algorithm can replace: moral judgment, empathy, the wisdom to ask not just what is efficient, but what is right. AI will govern. The only question is how much and on whose terms. The tools are being built right now in labs in San Francisco, Beijing, London, and 100 other cities. The decisions made in the next decade will shape governance for the next century. This isn't science fiction. This is the policy debate happening right now, mostly behind closed doors. You have a role in this, not just as a voter, as a citizen of the technological age. Demand transparency, demand accountability, learn what AI actually is, not the movies, not the fear, not the hype, because the question isn't whether AI will reshape our world. It already is. The question is whether you'll be part of shaping it or just subject to it. What if AI governed the world? It might save us, it might control us, it might do both. The answer depends entirely on the values we build into it and the courage we have to demand those values. The machine is learning. The question is, what are we teaching it?